there we go. We're going this. Looks like you guys are going to go with a double bubble. That's fine. They're running out with a double bubble. No big concerns so far.
So only lucky for me, or?
No.
Discord isn't
Most.
perfect, but I'll give it a second to catch up. I'm paused right now. Tell me if this is better.
Yeah. Well,
Good.
Pretty choppy, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's going to be a little choppy, unfortunately, in Discord unless we go into a more souped up Discord, but that's fine. Okay,
More
so
souped up.
more nitro boosts. It'll let you have better stuff. Okay, so we're here. Do we have our tracer effectively battling for this flank? Well, that's an interesting flank. I didn't even see where we started here. So let's go back just one quick second. And what are we establishing as our starting flank for our tracer? Over here. Okay, and we just get forced out early. Fine. And where are we setting up our partner DPS? We are setting up here. Fine, no problem. I'm concerned. Okay, who's our Echo player?
He's
Sub.
not here.
I wasn't playing the Scrim.
Okay,
Yeah, it
that's
was
fine.
sub.
That's fine.
It's the sub, and he's a hit scan player. So
And he's washed.
Okay, hit scan player and they're washed. Okay, so what are the big differences between our composition and their composition? So whoever would be planning our engagements, whoever would be sort of making the majority of the macro calls for this team, what are the big differences between what we're running, which is effectively double bubble, and what they're running, which is something different, we'll just say.
more.
They have mercy.
They win the Echo Duel because they have the Mercy Pocket.
But
Right.
their
Go ahead.
what's it called? Their backline is way weaker.
Right.
It's way easier to just kill the Ana because she has no break to help her.
Right. So we're looking to set up our aggressive dives. We want to sort of make that happen sooner rather than later. If we want to do a single cycle for energy, that's okay. But we need to be setting up for this dive pretty hard. And we're looking at this going, hey, we don't want this extended poke phase. So it's okay for our Echo to be dueling their Echo, just trying to lose slowly for a little bit. But we really want to be making sure that we get to a position where this dive can happen pretty quickly. And unfortunately, our Tracer got forced out. So that's fine. We'll live. Okay. I mean, this is a pretty hard focus on their Tracer. Are we really worried about their Tracer?
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, their Tracer really can't take down your Ana, right? Your Ana has a Brig. You're perfectly fine. If their Winston comes in, their Winston's not going to have a bubble. We're just not that worried about their dive unless they really stage perfectly, and they just haven't. So it's okay to poke out their flankers, but really we're actually looking to use our backline to more aggressively rotate in on them. We're sort of looking at this and going, hey, we can actually bully you. We can bully your flankers out. Like, we can actually literally just walk our backline this way if we want to make your Winston leave because you can't take the fight with us. And that lets us stage more aggressively to hit our dive. With me so far?
Yep.
Okay. So now we're maybe thinking about that, and that's good. But we have no dive set up right now. We are 100% completely squished. This is not in our favor. I know our Tracer, got forced out over here. That's fine. Got the health back. But we should be looking, can we set this back up? Are we ready? And we can be doing that with, can we have walked our backline forward? Can we have forced this out a little bit and then dove? Are we ready to just go, hey, let's hit a multi-directional dive from here, and from here, because again, especially if we tuck them in here, our Ana and Berg are just not going to be in any real trouble from their backline. So we're looking to set this up sooner rather than later. And this staging is just garbage. We lost the staging battle, and there wasn't really a good reason that had to happen. And then we're just like, this is an eternity, guys. I mean, I'm obviously being critical, but that's what I'm going to do in terms of, hey, we get back to here, and we're just kind of doing our little dance. We're doing our little dance here for 2-3 seconds before we even think about, okay, how do we actually want to go, actually want to get anything done here? Okay. Is this a real dive?
I mean,
No.
Wait, can you turn on
Barely.
overlay? Because I can't see our Tracer.
Oh, of course.
I'm on
Top
I'm
top right.
roof.
Yeah, no, I
Jason
saw a
didn't
tracer went in
go-
on the roof. I saw a tracer went in on roof.
Yeah.
So I see this.
Mhm.
And that happens. And we're looking at that. And the tracer did go into roof, and we did get the Anna, so it's good that we got the Anna. I don't think that was the greatest dive in the world. I know that wasn't the greatest dive in the world. This was a very direct. Our Winston goes here, our tracer goes here, and our Echo doesn't really go in. And this was a very unidirectional dive in terms of we didn't have any staging that had happened. Again, we had the ability to bully closer if we wanted because we had that harder backline, which we would have looked to do. And then I am going to turn off the overlay for a second because I have to see our
Yeah.
deployment order on our tools here for the Winston. So we look at this. Okay. And did we really just do that?
Yes, stack bubble.
Yeah, this is way early for the Winston bubble. This is way early for the Winston bubble in terms of we knew we're running double bubble. This is just something that we have to practice if we're running double bubble. The point really of the double bubble, or one of the main points, is hey, I have the Zarya bubble, and then if they're running a Zen specifically, I need to make sure that I drop my Winston bubble before the personal bubble or the projected bubble expires because I need to make sure that I don't get discorded. Like it's an important thing that we do that. But we're not playing into that right now. They're playing Anna, which the purple's annoying, but honestly not as annoying as the Discord. So that's my first objection here. That's my second objection. My first objection was not staging. My second objection is that. And my third objection is, Tracer, what are you up to? Like, does shooting these guys help? What is this? Like, we needed to be part of the dive, didn't we?
Yeah, I got tagged by Anna, so that's why I didn't go full in on Anna
Okay. Okay.
because I thought I was gonna die if I
Yeah,
did.
no. So you're
that's
staying
why.
here to get the heal. I get it. It's just like this is now not really a dive at all. And it worked because their rotation sucks, to be quite frank. But like that, this wasn't a well set up dive. They just misplayed harder than we did.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
should we set up in that situation? How
What's
could
that?
have we set up
Oh,
faster?
how could we have
have
set up?
we?
Sure. So what we wanted to do is, again, I wanted us to use the fact that we have this brawlier backline to be able to just go, no, we will bully you out of here. Like, we will literally bully you out here to get our backline here if we want to, and so that we can literally just drop our Winston from here, so that we then have a multi-directional dive where maybe our Tracer still comes in from this direction, but our Winston comes in from this direction, and our Echo also has the faster dive in here, etc. Anytime you're setting up a dive, Overwatch is almost universally about who can take more and greater angles. So right now you're playing. Oh, never mind. You can't see if I show like this. Right now your only angle is this, and this kind of sucks. It's hey, you do things like this, and it invites your tracer getting chipped. It invites your monkey feeling he has to use his bubble earlier because maybe he got the projected bubble here as opposed to here. Like it invites these things where they get more time to poke on you because you're playing the single sight line and you're playing a long sight line when they have the better poke than you. Instead, you want to play shorter sight lines. You want to go, nope, we're going to go here, we're going to rush you, we're going to bully you out to make you leave, and then we have this shorter sight line for our dive from here, but we also have multiple sight lines where we have one person from here, and one person maybe still does what the Echo does, but maybe through the window here as an example. We want this situation where we are threatening them from multiple angles so that it's not just all of our attention needs to be paid in the direction of Zarya. If all of their attention can be paid in the direction of Zarya, they're going to have an easier time. They're going to be able to go, oh, cover works against all of you, and they're also going to be able to go, oh, if I just press the S key, that makes me less accessible to all of you. That's a lot less true if your tracer is coming like this and your Winston is dropping here. Pressing the S key didn't really work because no, my Winston was coming from this direction with his initial dive in. My tracer was coming from here. My Echo maybe was up here. You want this situation where you have more of a surround on them from your greater angles so that they can't look at you, see you coming. Like maybe they were going, hey, I'm looking at this Winston trying to get my sleep dart off, so I don't even move. I don't even get a chance to react. I don't move well at all to avoid the tracer because my movement directions, my evasiveness against this direction is different than my evasiveness against this direction. It's really important that we get multiple angles for a dive rather than just the one there because it gives us so many different benefits. Their attention is distracted, it compromises their cover, it makes it so that when they try to get away from the dive, there is no away because every direction leads towards someone who gets to do more damage to them. You walk towards the Winston, he does more. You walk over here, the Tracer does more. With me so far?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So now we're here and we have some decisions to make. So we already effectively succeeded with this dive. We're going to generously call this a dive. We succeeded with this. So now we need to decide, what are we doing? Are we sort of stabilizing and then going for more? Are we immediately going for more? Or are we using our cooldowns to get out and going, you guys can't push cart, we're fine. Like we look at this and go, are we going for more? Are we staying in? Or what are we doing? So what's the target calling like at this point? I assume we got a dive call in the Ana. Now what's being talked about?
Wait,
I don't think we ever have called, do we?
remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
just
I think I called for us to just get out a bit.
yeah, I
Mm.
think so as well.
Like, try and
Maybe.
jump on red and stabilize.
Okay. Okay.
I think so.
That's very doable. Sure.
I can't remember. But then
What
me
was the
going
one I
in doesn't
called
make
then?
sense.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's happening. I think
You,
we're going for more.
I think someone called. Yeah, I think you called the Mercy one.
Okay.
I think.
Mercy
or
is
some
quite
shit like
one.
that.
Big brains.
Yeah, she is quite one, but I fuck it. But still.
Okay. So
Alright.
Mercy is one. If we rewind here, because I don't know exactly when the call came in, but we're looking at this. We do our Ana elimination. We're here. It's reasonable to go, hey, maybe we can work on the Echo. The Echo's pretty low. Force her to leave. Maybe we can work on the Mercy. Like, it's not crazy to stand here. And this fight is happening in your team's line of sight, in your Winston's bubble. This fight right now we're fine with. Though we are behind on tempo and cooldowns. We traded our cooldowns for the Elim, so that's fine. But we need to be aware that our power surge is faded. We're looking at this. And now my concern is we need to know how this dive took place. Our Winston is leaving, that's fine. Going up there, that's fine. We do need to be a little careful about going back here. This Mercy isn't a great target for us to follow onto, simply because it drags out of range of our backline, right? Like, that's the sort of thing where we need to be aware of. We have a 3v6 here, whereas back here it's a more of like a 3v3, 2v3, etc. But that's okay so far. And now our Winston is going up, and we're all hard peeling this, and these guys should be almost no threat. We just need to know that our front line is on its own for a moment. So is there any sort of communication going on right now that we're peeling a diva, anything like that? Does the front line know what's going on?
I
The
can
trade did-
tell you.
Oh, okay.
Give me.
Sure.
a
Oh,
sec.
you got the
What
comps?
minute is it? Yes,
Oh,
I got
wait.
one.
Wait, you have it? That's massive.
Yes.
I do
Okay.
remember
Well,
calling
worth-
out that the trade was trying to get onto Ana and me, and
Okay.
that was the backline's main priority because she kept stinging around
Yep.
and trying to get in. I felt like the front line was kind of aware of it too.
Okay, if the front line's aware of it, that's fine. We just want the front line to be aware that the back line is peeling so that they don't go in harder. Like what Winston did here is good. He didn't use his leap to continue to pursue. He went up here where he's potentially in sight of his back line and he's got this. And whether we do more with this leap or go up here is very dependent on our team understanding we're not going to be getting heals. The back line is busy peeling people. So as long as some sort of communication of, we're peeling, something's going on in the background, as long as there's something concise, like peeling diva, even something like that is enough to tell the front line, okay, we don't expect more resources for this. We're relatively on our own. And preferably with that is some level of communication of, do we need to be going back to counter dive or are we good? And you shouldn't have to counter dive in this comp setup, but occasionally you still will. Okay, good. So we don't necessarily want. Well, it's just a mercy. Fine. So here we are. So this doesn't really do anything other than a little bit of battle for high ground, which, you know, that's a thing. But also, we've now taken away our ability to organize any sort of mini-second dive here, right? Where we've now spent our Winston's bubble to sort of go on tanks here. And we can say, oh, but this is mid-fight continuing, etc. But it sort of looks to me like we were mostly restaged to go for another real push, another real dive here pretty soon. So if we look at this, we can say, oh, this is all the same continued fight, but our Tracer is going around outside to get a health pack. They're still down someone. Are we just looking to continue to brawl this, or do we want to go, hey, we'd like to hit another organized dive? Now, maybe there's no one to hit an organized dive with, so we're just going to continue to brawl. That's fine with me. But this is now an all-in for this little brawling that we're doing here. Are we just trading for this high ground? What's the plan right now?
They went for the diva.
Okay. Okay. And was that like a real, hey, is that a real, we're trying to take down the diva? My guess is no, or is that just a, we would like to keep red?
I think it's more like a we'd like to keep red.
Okay.
Most likely.
Okay. That's good. Okay, so now that Anna's back, and this is what I was concerned about, we've spent our bubble like that was a real dive, and now that Anna's back and we can't really do anything. So really we have to look back at this and go, hey, we went up one, how did we not get more done? So we look back at this. Did I go back far enough here? Yeah, this is about right. Now we're going to go back a touch further, sorry. And let's get our real dive. And then we'll play this at a more normal speed. Okay.
20 seconds in.
Yep. So we do this, and we get our Anna elimination, and this should be a pretty clean win for us at this point. They shouldn't be able to stagger this out as long as we don't do any throws, and as long as we take advantage when we do actually go up. We're up right now, so we're just trading. That's fine. We go out here and we're peeling, and now we need to recognize when we have tempo advantage. We didn't have tempo advantage after the elimination because, hey, we're down our major cooldowns. But now we're doing this, and we just forced recall, and we forced boosters out of them, right? So we have a pretty big tempo advantage now, and we should pretty much just be able to follow whoever we want. And here we choose to go after the Mercy, and if we'd gotten the Mercy elimination, that would have worked. But we should actually just be able to push this. This Diva is free, right? Like if we look at this Diva over here, we know she just used boosters to leave, and I'm going to guess that we don't have any comms that she is a target that we can take, do we?
Definitely not.
Nope.
Right. So this is the sort of thing where we need to be thinking about when we're playing against a mobile dive comp, and we're also playing a pretty mobile comp. Okay, the only valid dive target in their comp full time is going to be their Anna. So we need to be thinking about when do people do things that make them valid dive targets. And that's going to revolve around their cooldowns. And Diva is going to be a very common one to become a valid dive target after she's used her boosters, especially because she doesn't have armor left anymore. So this was 100% we just switch our focus to the Diva and we win this fight. We know Tracer isn't going to come back in because Tracer just used recall. We're not too worried about the Mercy Echo. Like, yes, they can do some work, but we should be okay. So this is 100% hey, we could battle for this high ground against the Winston, and I understand this, but we have tempo right now. We know that they burned all their major cooldowns. We know we're up a person. If we don't have Winston bubble back yet, we're just a little bit away from it, and we're using projected bubbles. So we had that cooldown. So this, and I think we're probably using flight 2 right now, it looks like. So we have the tempo window right now. We have our cooldowns back. Destroying this Diva is 100% what we want to do. And because we aren't on it, we don't make our good calls there, we end up in this situation. Okay, so there's the Diva again, and we know Diva just used boosters. We can hard focus her. We're gonna have to break the bear, but we should still have the resources for this. Our Tracer's out getting the health pack. Okay. So we need to be looking for these windows on the tanks after they've used boosters or jump to punish them. And because we don't get anything done, we're now in this situation where they've been brawling with us effectively this whole time, and we're almost losing this fight again now. How did that happen? And it's because we didn't get anything done when we had our windows there, right? Cool.
Yes.
Finishing them off.
Hmm.
Thank you. They're coming. Lost on my target.
Okay, we're gonna hard peel that. Okay, so again, we just need to recognize our tempo windows. So the initial strong dive that's something that we want, and we didn't have a very good one. And now we just used nade, we pushed this out. We can say, oh yeah, we'll just let that go. Like that's something that we could do, but I think there's very little reason that we can't actually push in and go for more here. We know that they don't have their mercy. Both of their tanks are half. Is there any real reason we can't push in and continue to battle these tanks?
Not really. We
Right.
also have Nano. We can just throw on Monkey if we really want to.
Right.
Wow.
So this is the
Yeah.
sort of situation where you guys have again gone ahead in a fight.
The only real disadvantage we have here is that I'm dead. I
Right.
think.
Right. And you know
Right.
that matters, but their mercy's gone too, and they can't res
Yeah,
their
I know.
mercy. So like I'm looking at this and I'm just looking at what is the cooldown status, what is the health status. You guys are like, aha, we drove them off, good for us. And it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of good for you. But again, the only targets you're reliably going to be able to take down are the Anna, who was right here if you wanted her, or the tanks after they've used their cooldowns. If these tanks hadn't used their cooldowns, I mean, they did to get up, but then they dropped, so they had or were a second back from having their cooldowns. But if you drop to fight these tanks, they're going to leave. They were both half health, and then you're just going to take the Anna for free. Like, we need to recognize when we're going ahead and fight. We need a better tempo recognition of what do the cooldowns look like, what is the relative health statuses look like. Obviously, we don't get a overhead UI like this in game to give us the clear health advantages like that, but we do need to be tracking the cooldowns that come up, and we do need someone to be controlling sort of our aggression. So do we have someone, like, I don't know what our comp structure looks like. Do we have like Socratic comms for making fight plans? Do we have like someone who's controlling rotation, someone who's controlling aggression in fights? What do we have? What is our comp structure like?
Well,
Um,
we do most.
Godway calls ults, and I call everything else.
Okay.
Like what else they have.
Okay. So you have an ult tracker
No,
that
yeah, we have ult tracker, and then
Then 5 planner / shot caller / rotation caller.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's fine. So then you, who's calling the fight, you know, who's calling the active fight, you need to just be try to be more keyed in on, hey, are we up? What's the status? And one of the things that really helps you with that is if people are calling meaningful cooldowns that come out. So are people making callouts of enemy locations, important cooldowns like nade, wraith, things like that come out?
We're not doing that enough. Definitely not.
Okay, so let's try to add that to our comp structure, guys. In order to get this grasp on how the fight is going, part of it is positioning, part of it is relative health, part of it is, positioning, relative health, and part of it is cooldowns. And I want everyone, not just two people, I want everyone contributing to the callouts, which are going to be enemy locations, specifically in staging type situations, you know, pre-fight, poke phase, etc., and meaningful cooldowns that come out. That doesn't mean every cooldown. You don't go, Brig used armor pack. I know there's not a Brig on the other team right now, but you're not calling every cooldown that comes out. But you're calling big cooldowns. Like, okay, no micro, no Winston bubble. You know, those are cooldowns that matter. Oh, there's res, recall. Like, those are all cooldowns that matter. And if our team knew earlier that recall had just been forced, great, we're going to do it. Or if we know we're against a comp like this, jump pack and boosters become good cooldowns to call, because knowing that they don't have jump pack or boosters is a really good reason, it's a really good indicator for our fight caller to potentially go, yes, we want that target. It's feeding him information because he can't track he's doing enough comm rolls at once if he's covering the rotations, the target calling, the fight planning. Like if he's doing all of that, he's going to need people giving him information, and sometimes he's going to dismiss that information, not use it. The cooldown calling and the location callings are not this is what we're doing. They're just informational callouts that are useful partially for your caller, but are also useful for everyone because it does change how everyone plays a little bit. If your Diva misses that nade comes out, for example, or if your Zarya in this case misses that nade came out from the other Zarya, it might change how your Zarya is willing to use their bubble that they know nade is gone, etc. So, you guys with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Perfect.
I do usually call cooldowns.
Oh,
Yeah,
excellent.
That's weird.
Excellent.
We don't call enough though. Still.
I call like every major cooldown I see though. What do you mean?
Okay.
I can share the
I usually do at
mod
least.
I made with the call out,
Mhm.
the fight.
If you want, I mean, we can go over the VOD with comms if we want right now, or we can do this. Like, I'm not picky. I'm just going to work off of the information that you
Yeah.
guys give me for this. So if you guys
Yeah.
feel like that's something you have on lock, that's fine. It sounds like that might not be under lock, so it's something that, hey, literally everyone has everyone has call outs as part of their comm responsibility.
Yep.
Wait, Turbo, are you syncing the audio up?
No, I have it recorded. I was spectating, so I
Oh.
have it, but it's not on YouTube. It's a video on the file on my computer right now.
That's
I'm
fine.
just like
Can we just like continue like
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
then
Let's
you
keep-
upload it to YouTube and then
sure,
you...
sure, sure.
Yeah.
So let's look at this a bit. So here we are. I'm just calibrating for a second because we got distracted talking about the fight. You guys are getting pretty split. You're out here. There's that. You guys are mostly trying to fight around cart, but Winston left. This is getting really scattered for what you guys are. That happens some in dive cleanup phases, but remember, you guys are going to benefit more from the fight being organized than they are. Okay. I don't like how much separation we have between our Ana and our Brig right now. So who's controlling backline rotations? Because I don't think that can be the same person. Prometheus, is that you?
No. It's
Okay.
also
It's most likely go away, I think.
yeah, it's like a what do we do? And then it's like, all right, let's go left top, and then we just move together.
Okay, because this is obviously this right now is not together, and Brig isn't someone who can hold space. Like old Brig could sort of be like, I'm just going to hold this space, etc. This isn't something Brig can do anymore. We need to have them together. Whether it's both of them are playing up here or both of them are playing here. Debatable what should have happened for this fight, but we do need to make sure we're on the same page. So for most teams, I would say, hey, let's have the Brig try to organize the movement just because there's a little more mental space available there, but that's got to be with input from the flex support. And if the flex support wants to be the one to organize the movement, that's fine, but we do need to make sure that that's happening. You know, it can be a backline to cart, backline to high ground, like calls like that, or can we go high ground? And a little bit of backline communication that you guys will get used to, that the backline is specifically talking to each other. You want to keep the comm space to a minimum for it, but there is going to be some comm calls with your backline there that you guys have to recognize your backline's voice because, hey, they need to rotate together. Brig is very squishy by herself, and and there's no point in running a Briggs if your Ana, Zen, whatever, isn't getting any protection from them. Why is this even close? Our Tracer should be brutalizing their Tracer. So here we are. We have...
My bad.
Well, no, it's just like I look at this and go, you got an Ana heal, you should have a repair pack. They have maybe Mercy Beam for a moment, but like this should be incredibly one-sided. We should not have to back out from this. Like, there should be no reason to back out from this staging battle with the Briggs and the Ana are both right here paying attention to you, and he's got a Mercy. Who cares? Like, your support is way better than the support that they have. You should 100% maintain this, and you want to, because maintaining the staging is what lets you then hit the dive when you want to, and it delays their dive. right? And both of those things are good. So like they're not really playing to dive, they're playing more for poke, but you still want to win the staging battle if it's reasonable. If two people show up here, like if you go, hey, I'm fighting Tracer and Echo, or I'm fighting Tracer and Ball, maybe you go, okay, I can't hold it, that's fine, I'm gonna have to back out. But if you're getting, you want to be aware, hey, I've got the repair pack, hey, and it's hitting me with the occasional shot. Holding your staging ground is important. Now you have to be careful in this matchup, because in this matchup they have the Tracer plus the Ball, where you have the Tracer plus Winston. So you are going to lose if Tracer and Ball show up on the same place, and even if your Winston goes with you, you're going to lose these staging battles. But your job more becomes, I either lose slowly or I take different pathing so that we can hit our dive faster. You with me there?
Yeah, I get you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Cool.
not sure because I feel like I probably would have done that usually, but I think we called back up, but I don't know. It might just be
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're
I have
losing
no
this
clue
fight.
though.
You guys might have called, "Hey, we're out," something like that.
Yeah. I don't know though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just stupid of me. You're right.
You need a timeout.
Unfortunate.
Game on.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys have to decide, and now there's no decision to be made. You just give it up.
Routing turret forward barrier. Adjusting angle of attack.
Okay, so if we're serious, let's be serious for a moment. Rewind a little bit further. My 5-second rewinds. My 5-second rewinds when I think I have 20 are expensive. If we're serious about the sort of backing out that we did from here, we have to realize this isn't Brawl v Brawl. This is more closely a dive v dive or poke v dive type thing, and we're just not very likely to get our Anna and our Briggs out in this situation. So maybe it feels like it, but we just need to be pretty decisive in our decisions. If Tracer wants to get out, Tracer can get out, but as soon as I'm looking at this situation, I'm doubtful that you guys are getting out. I'm pretty doubtful that you guys are getting out, and this becomes a, hey, let's manage the cart better instead of this. But that's okay. You were close.
You need a timeout.
Yeah, like, they'd have to be pretty bad for them to not get an elimination on you guys here, right?
Hmm.
And we sort of knew that this was going to happen, not for right away, but as soon as we saw like 5 people here, we sort of knew that this was downstream, so it was time to just give it up and go to cart. But that's okay. In doing so, our team is effectively baited. They go here, they get more, we get more staggered. Now we're not even going to get a particularly good first fight on seconds.
Routing turret forward barrier. Adjusting angle of attack.
So we should have just like doubled down and gone on car
Yes.
to just try to dive fast, so we could regroup fast.
Well,
Okay.
it's not so much
Delay,
that you're
time or whatever.
right. It's not so much that you're going, we want to die fast so we can regroup fast. It's that we want to. The cart can't move while we're on it. So either they'll stop us before we get to the cart, in which case, yes, we do get a new team fight sooner, or if they don't take us down immediately, well, that's fine because the cart's not moving. So it doesn't matter that our next fight is further away because the time is ticking down on the clock while the cart isn't moving. Yeah.
And stay.
Yeah. So right idea. The two of you can't win flank wars. It looks like maybe your whole team is rotating through here, in which case you definitely can, but this isn't a very tight rotation. So we're just getting staggered at this point, which is unfortunate.
Nerf this. Systems checked out. I'm back in the fight. Focus with me. Boosters engaged. Adaptive.
Okay. So we've effectively reclaimed some space here. How have the compositions changed, and what does that mean? Let's rewind just a touch so that it's not a duplicate. Okay. So they've made some adjustments to their comp. You guys haven't. What does this change in terms of how you guys are looking to take neutrals?
Mm.
Or does it not change?
Well, they have
mean-
they're running Brig Mercy,
Mm-hmm.
which is like
Yeah,
okay.
Brig is still pretty easy to dive
Mm-hmm.
because it's like going to be basically a 2v1.
Yep.
with the Mercy.
Brig is diveable. Yep.
And yeah, they're gonna have less healing, but more CC now.
Okay.
And Bull's gonna be more a menace for our backline.
Okay. How do you guys do in the poke matchup?
They
Very
outpoke
good.
us
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
hard.
Okay. So that's fine, and I'm totally fine that we came to this conclusion of we're still not afraid of their backline. We'd still like to dive their backline, even though it's a funny backline. I'm glad that we came to that conclusion, but there was definitely pause there, and there was definitely thinking there, which again, that's okay, but what I want is any time that the opponents make a composition swap, I want the whole team to be aware of what our neutral win condition is. We might not be executing our neutral win condition because ults exist and all that, but I want everyone to be aware anytime comps get adjusted what the neutral win condition is. And the best way to do that is to have someone, it can be someone's comm role, to either say what the new neutral win condition is, or if the neutral win condition remains unchanged, every time a composition swap happens, either them or us. Or you can have someone, because maybe they're just not confident enough about it themselves, to literally go, how do we win anytime they see a swap happen? You guys follow what I'm saying? Because that information is
It's an issue.
What's that?
It's an issue. Actually, we
Okay.
we discussed it earlier, but it happened today too. And when they swap a lot, we
Mhm.
don't, and they swap to become
That's-
more of an to
That's a
have more
different thing.
advantage. Isn't what do you mean?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
asking about that.
Yeah, so I'm not asking about, hey, are we on the right heroes to beat them?
Oh,
I'm
okay.
asking, how do we win on the heroes that we're on? So, like, their comp was a comp at the beginning of the match that you beat by diving. If no one has ults on the board, you beat them by diving, and you did not want the poke war to extend. Now, we've decided that you beat them the same way. And I don't actually care if that's right or wrong. I mean, I would like it to be right. I don't care if you're right on wrong on that. I care that you're all on the same page and that when it does change, you notice and the team is alerted to the fact that it changes, because it changes how you take the early part of the fight, right? It changes how you rotate, how you position, how you set up to try to win the fight. And if some of you think it has changed and some don't, or you're playing the old way when it has changed, you're gonna have a really bad time, right? So what I want is anytime there's a swap on to them or you guys make swaps, I want either the win condition to be said we're looking for dives. Okay, they swapped Reaper, we're looking for dives. A bad example. They swapped Reaper, we're playing for poke. They swapped Zen, we're looking for dives. That can happen. That's totally fine. Or if someone isn't sure, but the call out hasn't happened, anyone in the comms can literally go, they swapped, how do we win? To just sort of remind the team, remind the primary caller, remind whoever that's going to take on that responsibility, okay, I need to remind the team, I need to tell the team, or the team needs to quickly decide how we're going to play into it. Because sometimes, if you're not sure, so be it. That's bad if you're not sure, but it might be in a match that you're not sure what your win condition is. I would rather you're all on the same page of what you think your win condition is, though, even if it's wrong. Because then at least you're going to be playing together, and if you're playing together for dives, that's going to be better than, well, some of us think we're diving, some of us think we're poking, some of us think we're playing to bleed them long enough to get ults and then winning with ults. Because different comps play into each other in different ways. So you need to be on the same page for that. Because my concern is, now, I know you guys have mostly been staggered, but my concern is we haven't really seen a dive setup since here. And this wasn't a good dive setup, but I'm going to give it credit as, hey, we set up for a dive. If they're better at poke and we're better at dive, yeah, we can do okay once the fight devolves into 1v1s, but we want the fight to actually start, actually be real pretty early. And if we don't know that, hey, we're the better dive team, we're not necessarily going to be going, okay, let's get close, and then let's explode out here. We're just sort of getting staggered for now.
Do you want me to start doing that instead? Because Kato has a lot of roles. I can start doing that if you want. I'm done to do that, or at least try
Pretty
to.
good idea.
Because like Kato is kind of overloaded with
That's fine.
things like that, so I can just start doing that if you want. After swaps, I'm done.
Makes sense to me. I have no authority within your team structure, so you guys have to figure out what makes sense for you, but I would strongly recommend that that's a thing that happens in your comps.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Winston.
Okay.
Allah till May.
So we're rallying to match their duplicate. We have something kind of messy here in terms of this.
I noticed that a lot. Our fights do usually turn pretty messy.
Yeah. So
At
here
least
we
in
are.
this,
Yep, no problem. So here we are. We're doing this, and I'm going to go back a little bit further. Generally, what happens, our priority is going to be, in general, when we're dealing with things, our sort of mental priority should be we're going to take care of targets that are inside our concave, like in our backline or behind us. Then we're going to take care of targets that are holding aggressive off angles like these. Then we're going to go forward and deal with more targets. And going forward and dealing with more targets is really about getting our own concaves for either good poke, good dive, etc. But our priority should primarily be we want to deal with targets that are inside us because the most of us will have access to them, and we will have the best angles on them just by the fact that they sort of jumped inside of our team. Then we want to deal with targets that are on these off angles because A, most of us will be able to see them, but B, remember how I talked about how you set up your dive from multiple directions and that's what makes it good, strong, etc. Well, this tends to be it's more aggressive, it's more powerful space, but it's harder to hold space than the space over, say, here for them is. Over here, yeah, they're here, but this is where their support is. They have good cover. They have things they can do. They're sort of far away from us. This is closer. It's more neutral space. It's more contested space. So we're going to be able to force them out of here and make them go back to their team faster than we're going to be able to go push their team. Also, if we push their team, we're now in their concave where they have people in front of us and behind us. And we don't particularly like that because we can only look in one direction at once. So how we want to think about this is if someone's inside doing work or if someone's behind us, we generally want to clear them first, then we clear the people that are on aggressive angles, and then we clear the front line. And the same thing would happen in Brawl. If we were playing Brawl, for example, and we went, hey, we have our Reinhardt here, and we have maybe a D.Va, maybe a McCree, maybe a Mei, Bap, Lucio, whatever, and then over on this side, they have their Reinhardt, and they have their Zarya over here, you're going to shoot at their Zarya first, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, if they have their Zarya over here, and they have their McCree over here, you guys are going to send your D.Va to deal with the McCree while the rest of you shoot at the Zarya. You're not going to shoot at the Reinhardt. You're not going to go, hey, there's this Mei here. Or even if the Mei steps right in front of the Reinhardt, you might shoot at the Mei, but you're probably going to shoot at the Zarya first. Or if there's a Mei on the off angle, you're going to shoot the Mei to make her use her ice block or to make her go back to the Reinhardt. And if they use their cooldowns, like their self bubbles, their ice blocks, that's great, but you primarily want them to go back to their team because they do less damage to you. They're less threatening to you when they are forced to go back to their team. Same thing against this dive stuff. Okay, sorry, I wanted to cover that as a macro concept. I hope that made sense from a target calling standpoint.
Yes.
So here, oh, go ahead. I think I hear a question.
No.
Okay,
No,
So-
no question.
cool. So here we're dealing with the duplicate. That's fine. Our Winston is just want to play as conservatively as possible, is in trouble, so hopefully is just going to get out at this point. But, if our Winston is stuck in the situation of, oh, shoot, I'm in, my team is peeling stuff, he wants to get back to his team as best as he can, or he wants to go, let me play conservatively. Let me, hop up here and go, I'm sort of enforcing this. I'm sort of taxing them, making it hard for them to come in while I have good cover, so I'm sort of holding them out while my team deals with the people that are in here. But I'm doing it in a very low resource demanding way because I know my team is mostly going to deal with this duplicate and this D.Va. I'm not up here bullying them in their face. I'm instead going, let me do this cheaply. Let me do this cheaply type thing. Let me do this cheaply type thing. Or if I have leap, maybe I leap back and help peel this as part of the group that's peeling or that's dealing with the backline.
I
Primal.
think I try and Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Primal.
Yeah, you had
Just
no
survive.
health.
You
I
were 1
understand.
HP.
Yeah, you were 1 HP, and this can be fine because you're going, I'm going to keep these guys out, but you're not going deep like, hey, I want to do work with this primal. This primal needs to be I'm just keeping these guys out. I'm literally just keeping these guys out primal because I know my team is peeling right now. It's going to deal with this, and they're going to pick up they're going to cancel the duplicate. They're going to eliminate the diva. They're going to do those things. So this is fine, but this should be a keep people out primal. Okay. But you're not going to get anything after your primal's over, so you do need to make sure you're aware of that. Okay, so you guys mostly handled this right, in that you forced out the duplicate and you sort of forced the diva to leave, but your next target really was still the diva up here, rather than to come around like this and deal with this. I'm talking to our Zarya, our Tracer, etc. Got it?
Yep.
Cool.
Sorry.
Огонь по готовности!
Missed part of that. Let's get back. Okay, we're doing, let's just do a little bit further. It's going to be too far, but hey.
Sorry, I've got to go. But
Yeah, that's fine.
I might be
This-
back in a bit. So,
Okay,
Yeah.
so we got that. And we're looking to deal with the Zarya, which is good here. We don't have good tools for this, so we're just going to lose our monkey. Fine.
Sorry, it's hard alone.
What's that? Zarya's hard alone?
It's
Yes.
just
Zarya is very
yeah.
hard alone. So that is one of the things about this comp. You guys are kind of boned because you gave up the high ground, but Zarya very, very much needs the high ground when playing in this comp. Like, Zarya is very much a valid dive target for them and very much needs the high ground in order to do angles. So unfortunately, we weren't able to retake high ground properly between fights here because we never totally had a clean win for one. It wasn't a completely clean win for one side or the other. You guys won it, but you chased for your staggers and didn't get enough of them, and then they traded back in elimination. So we weren't able to reset on high ground, which is unfortunate. But now we need to be preserving our health because we know we're the team that's looking for a dive, or at least we think we're the team that's looking for the dive. So we want to be careful about, hey, preserving our health, making sure that we're ready. And now they're going to do this because, hey, they got to it. So we just need to kite that out a little harder. We've sort of got our Tracer in here doing stuff. Tracer's used recall. Zarya's got no health. And now our nano dive is coming off, which is just sort of like, well, this isn't synchronized very well. So this is what we were referring to as tempo. We probably went in here because we went, hey, we have to. Our Zarya's in too much trouble. So let's go back a little bit further. I would rather surrender a little bit of space on this cart than leave our Zarya in this situation. Like, I already want our Zarya to be back over here because I know if we give it just a couple seconds, we'll be able to get our team staged to hit a proper dive if we look at this, right? Like, we're going, hey, we can bully you out here. We have the stronger backline, and we're doing this, which is good. We're going, hey, we're going to bully you out. We're actually taking the high ground. Taking the high ground is okay. Could have probably dove from here, like could have probably just said, hey, let's just go dive on Briggs right now. Would anything have stopped us from doing that?
Nope.
Okay.
I think what was it? I think support's called wanting to go high ground, and Kato said, "I'm gonna babysit you."
Yep.
I think that's exactly what.
Yeah,
happened.
no,
Yeah.
and I understand that. Generally speaking, we would
Right.
want our supports on the high ground, and that would be correct, and our supports are safer in the high ground. On the other hand, again, if we remember our two compositions, our supports aren't super worried about a dive from the other team. Uh, they're really not. And hey, we would like this fight to start sooner rather than later because the longer the fight is going on, the more poke they're getting to do. Now maybe that's not true because hey, our supports aren't getting poked, but if that's true, we need to be surrendering cart distance, and our Zarya already needs to be like back here, etc., as opposed to babysitting the cart. So there's some communication that's not going on here if we're doing a, hey, we're going to rotate high ground when we needed to give up cart distance. But we also could have literally just gone, we're going to dive here. Is it a well-staged dive? Not particularly, but at least it becomes a, hey, our Winston Tracer can come from here, our Zarya is perhaps threatening from here, and our Echo just goes in from up here. So at least we've got three directions coming. It's not great. It's not a particularly well-staged dive. We would love to be like, hey, our Tracer's right over here, our Winston's here, and, maybe our Zarya's here. Well, maybe actually our Tracer's here, our Winston's here, and our Echo's over here. Like, we would love that, but what we have will work, and there's no way for this Briggs to get out. So that would have been preferable, and I think this is the type of thing that we might have keyed into a little faster and thought about if we'd sort of reminded ourselves we're still the dive team when they made swaps as opposed to the poke team.
Yeah.
Because all this poke is happening, mostly to our Zarya, and now we're going, oh shoot, we just popped our recall, our Tracer went in to help, and now it's popped our recall, and now our Winston's going in, and again, this is no synchronized, there's no synchronization to this dive, if we want to call it that whatsoever, because we used recall, and now at a different tempo, we're going in with our bubble, and our Echo, I don't know if our Echo has flight or not, and our Echo is, still 3 seconds away from flight. So we're in this situation where dive is living off of its cooldown synchronization. It's going, we get our value by taking our positioning and then having our abilities available in a synchronized manner to sort of edge out enough damage, edge out enough aggression to pressure a kill, and then we're weak for a moment and we sort of consolidate our position, protect ourselves a little bit until we have the next cooldown cycle back, and then we just clean up from there. So like, we can't be off tempo with our cooldowns like this. I mean, we can, sometimes that happens as the fight gets messy, but the fight shouldn't be messy yet. This should have been the beginning of the fight.
Yeah. Would it be better for me to just not have like gone for the Zarya at all, or like try to help the Zarya and just let her like kind of die, or deal with it herself, so that way I don't waste recall?
Tough call. I would have said in this particular situation, yes, it probably would have been better to go, we're going to let our Zarya go down and we're immediately going to trade back with a good synchronized dive. But that's because your good synchronized dive could have been 2 seconds away, if you follow what I'm saying, like a second away. If it was much further away than that, no, you have to battle and see, can I keep my Zarya alive? Because you do have a chance to trade back with a good dive. You're not likely to trade back without. So in that situation, yes, you could have said, hey, I'm going to let my Zarya go down. I'm not going to help them. The real answer, though, is your Zarya should have kited this harder if you guys were rotating. But again, you didn't have to rotate. We just needed a clearer decision on what are we doing.
Yeah.
Огонь по готовности.
Zarya didn't even die. Look at us go.
Hey, we'll take it, but we know that is just the opponent's not being good enough, not a case of.
We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Exactly. So Zara's got to take high ground, please. Oh.
Oh, look at him go. Look at him. Look at him.
Almost killed himself here.
Alright.
Okay.
This is so fun.
Well,
Look at me watching.
Okay,
I'm like,
No,
what
he
is
does it
doing?
again, I suppose. Because I
Look
remember
from my
him
POV.
almost
I'm
being
like,
dead.
what is it doing?
Okay. Yeah. So this is okay. We're looking at this. We do want to have some awareness of, are they setting up over here, which would be a concern. But this is okay as long as we can get our Zarya to high ground. But we also want to go to our staging. So where have we set our Tracer? I don't know where we've set our Tracer.
in spawn.
Oh yeah, of course.
Best position.
My ultimate is charging.
Safe.
And here I scout smile.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, we found ball.
Perfect.
that's fine.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And just happen upon a ball, you know.
Sometimes that happens when you're staging right.
Sometimes you happen upon players.
Unfortunately, you found 2 of them, so
Yeah,
you can
I
fight
was-
them here because your team now has line of sight. You drag them into line of sight. Okay.
I think I did though.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Yeah.
Diva.
Oh yeah, I got chased by Echo and Tracer, so I just lose.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was saying. If you were correct to go, hey, I'm going to stage. You were correct to go, hey, there's 2 of you. I'm going to drag you out here. You were less correct to chase. You didn't need to chase it because you guys are on defense, and if that ball loses 400 health, you're just sort of like, if you're confident you can pick it up safely, great, but you're just perfectly happy to wave at him and go, yeah, that's fine. He's going to have to go spend a bunch of time finding health packs, so that's delaying them taking any sort of fight, and you can go find other things to do. You've maintained your staging superiority
Yeah.
out here.
I went too greedy, Pepe.
All good, all good. I'm more curious what's going on with our duplicate, though.
Could someone be on the left, well, what's it called, a balcony? I don't know.
Yeah,
Should
I would
someone
like
be,
more awareness of what's going on over here, and one way to get that awareness was to win this staging battle. Another way to get this awareness was to go, hey, we could set our Anna
Supports
and
there.
Brig up over here. This is generally what you do. You just have to be aware if you're setting your Anna and Brig up over here that your dive team has to be careful about pursuing dives over here. But yeah, usually you'd set your Anna Brig up over here while you'd set your tanks up a little more. You'd set your Zarya up over here and your Winston and Tracer up with their staging in roughly this area.
Okay. Gotcha.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Okay.
Diva.
Okay.
No, no, no.
No.
This is
Oh,
a bit of a
that's-
mess. We committed
Oh, we go deep.
we committed
that's
duplicate
aggressive.
for movement. Our supports are back here, guys. Our supports are back here. Like we're going in.
That's aggressive.
This is
He has some walls, man. I gotta give it
worthless.
I am gonna get out completely fine, so it's all good.
him. Sure.
Do you have? Oh
Fire,
yeah, you do
fire.
have Primo. Wait, he killed both support.
Yeah,
here?
we killed 2.
No. You
Oh
guys
my.
rotate up and do this, but this isn't good. Like I'm glad it works out,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
I think Sarah does. Yeah, she does.
there could have been
No, it doesn't.
communication here.
Sure
Like
it
it
doesn't.
would have
Oh,
been
yeah,
totally.
Zarya.
It
I
would have been
thought just Zarya.
totally possible for Anna or Brig to step in here and get some health on that Zarya, but that's life.
Tracer survives with like half a health.
hmm
I'm on an adventure.
That happens.
30 seconds remaining. Adaptive circuits engaged. Winston.
Okay, I suppose we can go through this.
Adaptive circuits.
Okay, so they're pushing. Let's go back a little bit to when we lost our staging battle. Okay, so Tracer is going around the long way. Yeah, that's happening. Tracer is trying to stage as this is sort of happening. Our Winston is in here. We would usually be the team that wants to dive them. Are we actually going to do that? And what does our ult situation look like? So we have Rally, we have Pulse Bomb, we have Primal. They have Duplicate, Pulse Bomb, Valk, and Self-Destruct. So ult-wise, this is very winnable. Where's our Zarya? Our Zarya is right here. Okay. So they're in, and this should be an easy peel. We've talked about this. We force out the Tracer first. We use our bubble as they're out there.
Oh.
What's that?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Winston.
Okay, and this is fine. I mean, your Nano Winston should be able to do enough over here. He's not going to get the Zarya bubble, so he needs to know that. I'm
Look
going
at
to
the
be
jump.
sit.
Look at the jump.
What about the jump?
Pretty sure I
Oh
missed
yeah.
it.
Oh,
Missed.
oh. Okay, well that's
Wait,
disappointing.
did you get blocked by the diva bomb, or
Oh,
did you
I
just
did.
like miss it?
I think I just missed
Dude.
it.
You
Oh,
try to
okay.
make the jump without the rope, dude. You fucked
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not making it from there.
Yeah.
I feel like No
No.
Heroes needs to call his bubbles more, because he was doing it a bit, but like I feel like he isn't doing it enough at least.
Yeah, you need to call as Zarya in this comp anytime you don't have your bubble, because like if you don't have your Winston bubble or you don't have your Zarya bubble, your normal dive play isn't happening. So those are things that need to be called, definitely.
In his credit, he was doing it this scrim, at least a bit.
Good.
Oh
think.
no, I didn't miss.
Just a little bit more then.
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't miss it.
that was the wrong time.
Got it.
Okay, so you got it.
Oh.
We've got our. That's going to be tough to follow, but maybe. And then over here they have the self-destruct. We have rally going, and do we have personal bubble still? Where?
Sorry, use
was-
personal.
Sorry,
use
use personal. Okay, got it.
Oh, this is so unlucky, dude. I fucking died from the bomb. So sad.
Yeah.
Where did you die though?
Yeah,
bridge
I
showing.
fucking lagged to the right.
Yeah, like.
Okay.
Forward.
I lagged, like, I was behind Captain and I just lagged to the right for the window.
Am I AFK? Where am I?
Remaining.
Who was
Uh,
that?
Oh, no, I get
I'm
mad.
I'm staircase.
Okay. Okay. So we're trying to do this, which again is sort of dragging 3 people. So if so, we need to be winning pretty hard over here, which we. Not really. Okay. Okay, so we need to be out there effectively peeling whatever on our Zarya, which is the ball. Zarya should really just come back. You guys are done. You don't want to chase a ball forever.
Boosting up. Round 1. Complete.
Works out. Okay.
89.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they C9.
Works out. So do you guys play the same comps on attack here?
Round 1. Ready
Yes.
for battle.
Okay.
I don't think. No, they did not play the same comp.
They played
No, we
full
did.
roll, I think.
I
No,
would
No,
have
they
to
played
this.
a Torb, didn't they? They played the Torb,
I-
the Torb thing. We got fucked by it.
Ready for battle.
No?
Spoilers.
Ready for battle.
Does he not?
No.
Am I tripping? I think they played the Torb. Okay, I'm just
No.
stupid.
Sigma.
You're
Yeah.
just from another dimension.
Battle.
Yeah, we didn't get to
Actually,
the IC.
interdimensional.
Ready?
It's pretty late. It's pretty late. We just waited for 4 years here.
Yeah, and
Okay,
we swapped
I'm
the
trying.
ball.
We're getting ready
That's
to
real.
get roasted.
Okay,
Let's
there we
do it.
go.
2, 1.
Okay, so you guys are still running your double bubble, and they are running a thing. I mean, they think we're well, they're experimenting because Sigma got buffed probably, so they're experimenting.
Nope,
Does
not.
the old
It was
comp
not
make
that.
sense?
Not the, not,
Oh,
not
yeah,
okay.
not yet.
Wasn't yet. Okay, then you know what? I got nothing. I got nothing.
No, if I think so.
They were trying to do a hybrid.
I'm pretty sure the buff was already out.
Okay.
No,
So it
no.
usually comes out at 20 CT, right?
No, we
Oh.
didn't update it.
Yeah, but there was
Yeah.
no update.
There wasn't an update.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, there wasn't?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then
Okay.
then they were okay, that makes
Okay.
sense then.
Incoming.
So that's fine. They're trying that. You
Stop
guys
the
have
payload.
this, so 15 seconds in, we should know. Okay, Echo has scouted for us. So who can tell me, how do we win these neutrals?
Well, they have a pretty backline with Ash maybe being a target, but she has a coach gun. They have Immor and Brig Bash, so we just.
We go to the
Wait for them to
backside of the
die.
map and go up, on the right side, because she can go to that alleyway, right, and take
The
the
thing is,
stairs up.
they have
Isn't
like
that better?
2 dive heroes.
Yeah, so their
for them
poke is
to
a
push
lot
them
better
to
than
push
yours,
them
though,
back.
right? Like if we
Yeah.
look at their
Yeah.
poke, they have Ash, they have Bap, they have Sigma. Like those are all heroes that have pretty meaningful poke, whereas your meaningful poke is basically Echo. right? Like Zarya can contribute some poke, but your poke is basically Echo. So it almost doesn't matter. Like we either decide we dive them because our poke can't beat theirs, or we decide that our comp doesn't work. And I think the right answer is we have to dive them. Is it the easiest dive in the world? No, no, it is not, because they've doubled up on Sigma plus BAP, and that's kind of their weakness. They've gone with Sigma, or not Sigma plus BAP. They've gone with Briggs plus BAP, and because they have Briggs plus BAP, that's not the, how shall I put this? That's not the squishiest backline for you guys to go after as dive. That's actually pretty good. Usually when you were running this comp, you'd see a Zen in that BAP spot, and that was a much more valid dive target. They've made themselves pretty durable between having a Briggs, between having an Immortality Field. On the other hand, they do have a Sigma, and Sigma is a pretty diveable target. So I'm looking at this and going, dive is probably the right play because poke is definitely not the right play, but you could also go, hey, let's just roll out on something that can absolutely abuse them with more poke. But this is fine, so we'll play this.
We stick to the bubble, and I'm pretty sure we go to kill Sigma
Okay.
/ dive him.
Yep, I think that's a good plan. Owie.
We call dive BAP, I think.
Doesn't
No
really
way,
make
we call dive BAP.
Yeah, you did. I think because I remember because you were on him and I nearly
Really?
died.
I was
I
that
think so.
stupid?
It's
That
not
was
an
inspiring.
it's not an impossible dive target, but Sigma's I mean, they're much less vulnerable to dive than they would be if they had a Zen, but they don't have the diva
Maybe
anymore.
maybe you
so.
transition. Maybe you transition to him. I can't remember because.
Okay, so we're two spread in what we're doing here. This is something that we've talked about before, where if we look back here, we take our quick look, and now we're pretty spread in what we're doing. I understand the monkey going in for the first energy cycle, because that really is what you're doing, and I understand the tracer doing, hey, maybe I'm supposed to be up here trying to do some work, etc., but I don't want my Zarya up here, really. I don't want my Zarya this far separated. My Zarya is sort of in no man's land where she's diveable without really getting help from my supports and also not protecting my supports in any way. So I'm looking at this Zarya positioning and I don't really like it, and it's potentially creating a little bit of an opening for these guys to do work here. Our first thing, your bubble cycle rotation, this little soft dive jump is fine. We go, hey, we're sending in our monkey with his double bubble to just sort of do something, while our tracer is going to see, okay, well, during this, I might as well see if something's vulnerable. It's not a real dive, but we're sort of doing that, and then we're done. And then on the next cooldown cycle, we'll go in for real when our team more has a backline that can support us. This one was just a let's get our Zarya energy before our real push, which I'm fine with. Or you cycle up to ults. Like your other option is you look at this comp and you go, I don't like our ability to dive them, and I don't like the fact that they have better poke than us, so let's just try to build up ults, and then let's just very methodically cycle our ults, because you can run this team over with your ults pretty well. Like, you look at this, and you guys do have your Graviton, you guys have your Nanos. Like, this is a team that you can ult cycle pretty well. Their Bob is going to be lower value than what you have. Their Window is a good ult, and so is their Flux, but you guys have a bit better ult if you were playing for that, and that is a common thing that Double Bubble does. But I'll first jump in here to build energy for your Zarya. Totally fine. I just don't want my Zarya itself up there. We're creating this situation where our backline should be almost invulnerable, and now isn't.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we said after this match as well. We just said Zarya. Okay, he's not gonna know. That's cool.
Huh?
No, Zarya just took bridge.
Oh shit.
Hardcore god.
You guys are getting farmed. You're way too spread out. Okay.
Yes.
This happened 3 times.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we called no heroes to stay with the backline all 3 times.
Okay. Okay.
I'm pretty sure we did at least.
Trace is pushing cart. Totally fine. Are you guys going underground? Okay. No. You're going here. I doubt your Zarya has enough energy for this to be real. Yeah.
He's hold 25. What do you mean?
A full
A small loan of 25 energy.
So our Tracer's set up for a dive, which is good. But I'm still in this should be soft dive territory, but you guys look like you're trying to make it a hard dive.
Would it be better if I stayed cart here and to try to force some pressure onto cart, or
Which hero are you playing?
I'm playing Tracer?
Tracer.
You're playing Tracer. I was good with what you did to push the cart, and I would be totally fine if you continued to push the cart here because I didn't want a hard dive here. I wanted a soft dive to try to build more energy for your Zarya and to try to charge up more nano and more primal. That's what I'd be looking for here. So yes, I'd be good with you staying on the cart, continuing to push it, making them annoyed. Like that would be fine with me. You guys clearly chose to execute a hard dive. You included your Tracer and your Echo. Usually you do that when you have more energy and when you have a backline that can be relevant. I just don't think you can execute a hard dive on this because you're running Zarya, not Diva, right? Like she can't get up there, and your Brig and Anna aren't really going to be able to contribute up there either. So yes, I'd have liked these just to be repeated soft dives while you put pressure on carts.
Okay. That's generally the way to play this like little point on the order, right? Because we don't really have a way to engage the dive with both Zarya backline and the rest of the team. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'd recommend when you're in this setup. Yes, I would say, hey, let's
Okay.
do the soft dives. And Double Bubble actually thrives pretty hard on rotating through its ult cycle appropriately. So anytime you don't know what to do, you can just go, hey, let's repeatedly throw our bubbled Winston at them to get energy while we sort of are annoying in other places with a little bit of cart pressure, with an inaccessible backline, with that sort of thing until we have ults. And then we'll go, okay, now we're going to nano plus Grav. Now we're going to Rally plus Primal. Now we're going to Pulse Bomb plus Duplicate, like, and just sort of rotate through your ults like that.
Okay.
You guys just wildly split again. And again, I mean, that dive was never going to be something that you had the resources to keep alive. Always needed to be a soft dive. Let's see, one or two more times.
Soft dive consists of Tracer and Winston?
It's just a dive that we're not really committing
dive.
on.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
It's right.
you just jump up,
Go
stay
in
there for like
and
3
get some
seconds, and then
stuff
jump
and-
down.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
It's like jump up
You don't
with
jump for
Just
kills.
shows you.
jump up with the
Sorry.
bubble, not jump deep for the back line. Jump up with the bubble, zap some things, get your Zarya energy, commit your bubble if you want, stay for a second, and then leave and still get out with 200-300 health. That's all we're talking. Instead of the deeper dive that I'm trying to get the elimination on this Ashe, this Anna, etc.
Okay.
It sucks, but you gotta. Like, this is just no. We've got to line up to take this from them or to take this from them. We don't just want to try to run through this with what we've got set up. We're not Brawl.
Take space in 9 head.
What? Don't just run it up mid? No.
I'm like a silver 3 CSGO player that only plays with the P90. Do you want to fight me?
Okay.
Cap. Oh, I got fucked. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I
That's
like
not
the other
good.
rotation better for reasons that you're about to see.
Yeah, I mean they just have every single angle, and we don't have we can't really dive without
Right.
any.
Whereas if you go this way, they're set up to hold this space. So if you go this way for your high ground, they're sort of like, oh, well, shoot. And the best they can do is they can match you here, or they can try to come out here. But if they come out here and you baited them and then counter rotate, like, you can out rotate them if they try to come hold you here. So this rotation I like more than this one, because they get this for free and this happens.
Could you say that the reaction is oh well shoot, and the best thing they can do is oh well shoot? Like a big brain. Do I
That's
die
more-
again? If I feed again, I'm gonna scream. Okay, maybe I survive. No, I don't. Wait, do I?
God gamer.
Survive? I survived. Look at me go.
No Zarya bubble? Okay.
There wasn't one.
Oh, okay. So this is
Yay.
just... Yeah, I was just surprised to see the play then. Then we're committing... I mean, you guys are just a mess. This isn't real. And I don't mean to be dismissive of it, but, like, you guys have... You aren't...
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, you aren't organized in terms of what you're doing at this point.
We have a
Your mother roasting you.
bad habit of after losing like 3 fights on 1 point, we just get boomed.
Yep. I get it.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, this was so.
No, we pushed it.
No, we get full hold. I'm 90% sure we do.
You do. I looked at the time.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
Yeah, we definitely do.
We died without grabbing a single time the entire round.
Oh yeah, Ash killed both supports.
Yeah, 'cause no one looked at her.
Okay, so I'm looking at this, and obviously we talked about your first round. We're going to make some adjustments to your comms in terms of we're going to want more call-outs. That's going to help you guys out, specifically on cooldowns, and that's going to allow us to have a more recognition of when the tempo has swung in our favor, and that recognition is going to mean sometimes we're pushing, we're re-aggressing, we're recommitting in the middle of a fight that has gotten sort of tradey, sort of brawly, whatever. The other thing that we're going to do is we are going to make calls when compositions change to make sure that we are on the same page in terms of what our neutral win condition is, so that we're all playing trying to accomplish the same thing into the team. Then when we look at our offense, some of that same stuff is going to apply, but we're going to look at this and go, okay, well, I guess we're just going to do some soft dives. We're going to make our call that we're going to do some soft dives. And when it comes to our rotations, this is not a thing. This is the best thing. And if we want to do like a, hey, we rotate mostly this way while our tracer is just kind of like faking over here or something like that, that's fine. Our tracer can slowly lose a fight over here to buy us time for this rotation as long as they don't go down. But then from here, we get to take out spread and take our angles. We get to go, okay, maybe our people are here, they start to spread out to here, they start to spread out to here, and now what do you know, we're fighting for 3 different lanes, and that, while it's sort of a one-directional dive, is still better than the actual one-directional dive, quote unquote, that would happen through here. You guys feel like you got what you needed out of understanding how this map could have gone better?
Pretty much.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I
Then
guess I definitely need to try and go right side or like go
Explore different options.
not main.
Yes.
Be
Yeah,
more
explore different
open-minded,
options.
Smile.
Just got to build more on team synergy, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, we need
Oh
to
yeah, most of the time we're really split, which just
we
seems
need
energy.
to look for our rotations. We need to look for our rotations in terms of which ones make sense. And in general, when you get sort of held at this choke here, this right rotation is a strong one. The left one can be done if they give it to you, but they frequently won't. So, because it's easier for them to redeploy to block. And then we talked about the sort of second point defense there when we were there as well. So there's certainly more things we could talk about. I'm not going to give you guys much longer, but I will do 5 minutes if you like. If you guys have more general questions or other things surrounding the team that maybe didn't come up in this match in terms of what should happen, in this composition, who should do this, in this composition, who should do this, does it make sense to do comp structures like this? Like, I'm happy to answer more general questions if you have them for the next couple minutes here.
Okay. I have one, just in general.
Shoot.
If, like, for example, it happened on this map as well, but not this map.
Mhm.
But on Dorado, we were running Brawl second point, and I was like, I felt like I was overloaded because they were running like a double bubble, Echo Tracer and shit. So I didn't really know like who to focus and like how to pace myself to
Yep.
still be in line with the Rhine.
Sure.
how would I like go about doing that more effectively? Is it worth like trying to poke out the tracer, or is it just like ignore her and like?
So it becomes, you have to understand that you're a brawl comp playing into a much more mobile comp. So what you're doing is you're going to do things that are much more in the territory of, hey, I have cover, and what I would like to do is from here, can I contest the point? Yes, maybe no. Okay, fine. If I can't, I need to make sure I'm aggressing from cover to cover. So I have my team here. We're pretty stacked. Now we're going to do our rotation to get to here. Now we're going to do our rotation to get to here. Now we're going to do our rotation to get on top of their Anna that can't move, etc. Or if it's, hey, they're pushing the cart, we're going to do our rotation to the cart, we're going to swing, we're going to force out the Winston, and then we're going to rotate back to here. Okay, and then we're going to rotate in, and we're going to force out the Winston, and we're going to rotate back to here. Oh, we got the Winston? Maybe now we're going to rotate through and take down the Zarya, whatever the case may be. But, like, it needs to be, when you're playing brawl comps like this, into comps that are much more mobile and much more able to spread than you can't just chill in open spaces. The team, you need to have organized rotations very strictly from here to a closed space, or from here to something that you can actually force an elimination on, a Zarya, an Anna, something like that. So I don't know if that answered your question specifically, but I feel like that was groundwork that I needed to lay to answer the question. So can you give me the question
Yeah,
one
yeah,
more
yeah.
time?
No, it was more like no, it did actually help a lot because
Perfect.
because it felt like I was very overloaded because there was both an echo and a tracer, and I had to like focus with the Reinhardt to like actually
Yeah. So
play brawl,
what you're
which
generally going to
overloaded me.
do is your Reinhardt and team are going to try to push to this place, push to this thing, push to this new cover. And during the rotation, your diva, because that's what you're running, I hope, is going to go, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to block out the Echo or the Pharah or maybe the Tracer. I'm trying to block out one thing that our Reinhardt can't block as we do our rotation. And maybe we get to it and it's a Pharah, and as our team is actually brawling, like they explode out to go, we're going to amp speed out onto the Zarya, and while that's happening, your diva's going to boost her up and try to zone out the pharmacy or the Echo Mercy or whatever the case is going to be. That's a thing that can happen, and that's how you help prevent your team from being overloaded. But you are going to get overloaded if you just stay in open. If you stand in open and try to fight them, you're going to get overloaded. That's what they do. So you got to make sure you're getting to a new cover, or if you're fighting, you're on top of a target that can't get away, so you can eliminate it quickly. And then you go, okay, we got the Anna. Now let's move on to the Zarya. Now let's get back into closed space, type thing.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Sick. Thanks.
Okay. Anyone else question wise?
Okay, I have a question.
Shoot.
It's kind of like this same one, but in a brawl versus mobile comp, um, what is the target focus priority? For example, uh, we're trying to rotate to point. They already have point. They set up for a dive.
Yep.
And we're trying to retake the point.
Mhm.
How do we try to? Like,
Sure.
we have the ball diving, and then the Rhine just wants to push into their back line, but we die, and we get split up, and
Sure.
we have this.
So
Confident.
let's play it here. They have cart control. We're back at Fountain. They've also set up, I'm just going to give examples. Say that they've got their Anna over here, their Brig with them. They've got an Echo set up here, and they've got, I don't know, a Tracer over here, right? Well, while we're at Fountain, their backline isn't interacting with us, and neither is their Winston or their Hammond, whatever. So we're going to go, hey, if we see that tracer, maybe we'll shoot at that tracer and force that to leave before we go anywhere. Because we have a McCree, we have a McCree, we have a BAP. We can force that tracer to leave, or at least not to push us for a second, and then we'll go, okay, that's not pushing us. Maybe we're also going to shoot that Echo to make that Echo leave. And once we've made that Echo leave, we're going to either rotate out here, or more likely, we're going to rotate in here. Now the Echo can't bother us. Now we can absolutely 100% force the tracer to leave. And now we're in this situation where we're going to have to force our way out of this. But they have had to quickly shift their team around if they want to hold a concave on us, where the Echo has had to go over here, where she now doesn't have very good aerial cover against us, and no one else was even able to rotate. Like, we don't care if the Anna or the Briggs go over here or whatever. They still have to be on the point. And now from here, we go, okay, we could either try to explode out all the way to the Anna Briggs, someone immobile, to the Zarya who's probably up here, or we can just go, let's push out, let's fight your monkey or your ball or whatever to make it leave. We make it leave, we chip it down, and then we go, we're just going to go way back in here. We're perfectly happy. You can't meaningfully move cart. We're gonna go make you leave. Maybe we go in here, but now we're happy. Okay. Now we're gonna go here. Oh, your monkey used leap to go away, and we're still healthy on resources. Maybe now we're gonna go ahead and pop our speed boost and go over after your Anna. And you sort of get what I'm saying here, where this becomes a. And then again, if you get it or don't, you then finish in here, where the Echo and Tracer aren't really gonna be able to fight you. If the Tracer comes and fights you, you laugh. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Basically, just like try to use a
Totally.
lot more map cover in
Exactly.
uh,
Exactly.
as a
in
unit.
the rotations and just in general pushes.
Yep. And if you get too spread out, it's going to hurt. Like if you're like, oh, we're here and my Reinhardt is here and my McCree is here and my May is here. Yeah, they're going to beat you. They're going to be like, hey, we have Echo, we have Tracer, maybe we have a Discord Orb, whatever. And that's absolutely going to hurt. And that spreading out is good when you're playing Brawl v Brawl, but it's bad when you're playing against, a comp that is much more mobile and more poke heavy than you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Then I think that's going to do it. So good luck to you guys.